whenever a CIP triggered against a corporate debtor, an IRP or RP gets appointed to do their job done. Some practical issue arise. Compliances under GST Act would become the main issue. There are many questions for managing the same, such as situation where we as an IRP or RP need to take new GST registration under the name of corporate debtor. Within how many days we need to get it done? What would be the situation for existing GST registration held by CD? Will they get remains active or get cancelled? If first appointed IRP or RP get replaced with new one, whether new registration will be required again or previous one gets amended with new signatory. What procedure would need to follow at GST portal for getting new registration? So we will take one by one. First, need of new registration and time limit to take new registration. The corporate debtor who are undergoing the CIRP would be treated as a distinct person of the CD, and it shall be liable to take a new registration in each state or union territories where the CD was registered earlier within 30 days of the appointment of IRP or RP. Next, whether is it mandatory to have new registration in case where existing GST registration of CD is fully compliant with rules and regulation. It is clarified that IRP or RP would not be required to take a fresh registration in those cases where statement inform GSTR 1 and returns inform GSTR 3B for all the tax period prior to the appointment of IRP or RP have been furnished under the registration of corporate debtors, means previous registration. Now question is, should the existing GST registration of corporate debtor be cancelled? In this case, CBEC has clarified that the GST registration of an entity for which CIRP has been initiated should not be cancelled. The proper officer may, if needed, be suspend the registration. In case the registration of an entity undergoing CIRP has already been cancelled and it is within the period of revocation of cancellation of registration, it is advised that such cancellation may be revoked by taking appropriate step. Now comes further, if first appointed IRP or RP get replaced with new one, whether new registration will required again or previous one get amended with new signatory. The new registration by RP or IRP will be required only once. In case of a change in IRP or RP after initial appointment thereof, it would be deemed to be change of authorized signatory only and not an appointment of a distinct person requiring a fresh registration. In case where the RP is not the same as IRP, or in case where a different IRP or RP is appointed midway during the insolvency process, the change in the GST system may be carried out by a non-core amendment in the registration form. The change in primary authorized signatory details on the portal can be done either by the authorized signatory of the company or by the concerned jurisdictional officer on request of RP or IRP. Now, what would be the situation for GST dues for period prior to the insolvency commencement date? The dues of the period prior to the commencement of the insolvency date will be treated as operational debt and claims may be filed by the proper officer before the NCLT in accordance with the provision of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Now, what are the steps need to consider while applying new registration at the GST portal? There are some general things need to consider while applying new registration on GST portal, such as applicant should select the reason for registration as corporate debtor undergoing CIRP with IRP or RP from the drop-down menu. The date of commencement of business for IRP or RP will be the date of their appointment. Their compliance liability will also come into effect from the date of their appointment only. The person appointed as IRP or RP shall be the primary authorized signatory for the newly registered company In the principal place of business or additional place of business, the details as specified in original registration of the CD is required to be entered. The new registration application shall be submitted electronically on GST portal under digital signature of IRP or RP and so many. So that's all about the GST compliance need to be taken care of by IRP or IRP after getting appointment in a CIRP process. I hope it will be helpful to provide some idea, basic idea about this major practical issue. I'll come further with some other practical issues need to be handled by IPs. Thank you. Thank you all for listening.